at the 2019 Polls Festival is come and gone, but leaving with us some marks of inconclusive elections in some states. Bauchi, Adamawa, Rivers, and of course others. And the basic question here is that the templates created from this 2019 Poll Festival, comparing it with that of 2015, can we say that there's a difference on the positive side or on the negative side? And if there is or there isn't, what are the factors that are responsible for the differences? We will be looking at that and the aspect of violence and political thuggery that we've been a guest on the platform of this morning ITV, trying to shape in thoughts and opinions of political actors and electorate, and the very essence for youths not to make themselves available for some political actors to use them as thoughts. Still fell on deaf ears. Well, the elections come and gone, but we have some bruises that we need to treat, that we need time to heal, but how long that time will be to heal these bruises and wounds, only God can tell, or probably my distinguished personalities right here in the studio probably could tell how long that time will take. Well, discussing with me on the 2019 Polls Festival and the impact on Nigeria's democracy, starting from my extreme left, I have a senior pastor, Bishop Austin Igbasan, the senior pastor of Soul Liberation Bible Church. Many thanks for coming, Bishop.
Thank you for having me, and good morning, viewers.
And also next, I have a politician, Collins Osagai Amadi. Many thanks for coming.
Philip, thank you. Good morning. Good morning, viewers.
And it's also preferable I address you as a comrade.
Sure, I am a comrade.
Right.
It's a general title.
Thank you. Well, we're looking at what has transpired so far. We've been on the road, the voyage of ensuring that we have free, fair elections. And some months back, we've been on this, Bishop Austin Igbasan. Looking at what we started with, the presidential and National Assembly elections that came and left some bruises with us as it left. And also we had that of the State Assembly and governorship polls that came and also left big bruises and wounds with us. In the course of trying to open up the discussion segment, I did say we can't tell how time or how long it is for these wounds and bruises to be healed. But well, let's look at so far the elections, starting with the presidential and National Assembly election. Can you say that such aspirations that we anticipated that INEC would meet was actually actualized?
Indeed, I'm going to speak my opinion. Now, INEC did not disappoint me. As far as I'm concerned about the presidential and National Assembly election. Because I say this because the appointment of the INEC chairman himself is premeditated for what we have seen today. This is the first time we have it against the act that established INEC. The INEC chairman must never come from any geopolitical zone related to a sitting head of state or a president. So the appointment in the first place, from 1999, General Abdulsalami appointed late Justice Ephraim Akpata to midwife the democracy we're having right now. Now, that one brought in Chief Obasanjo. Chief Obasanjo appointed Dr. Ebed Gubadia, who is a Benin man, not a Yoruba man. And also, after that, the second time, Professor Maurice Iwu was appointed an Igbo man who is not from the tribe of the sitting president. And that one led to Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who appointed a man he has never met physically in his life to be an INEC chairman and allowed the man to run the INEC without interference. We have in 2014, 2015, INEC being independently run without any order from above. And we all saw what happened in 2015, that we have less ballot snatching, we have less thuggery, because the introduction of technology. If you look back, you see when late Dr. Yar'Adua was elected, he said the election that brought me on board was full of irregularity. And I'm going to start from there. He set up an electoral panel headed by Justice Uwais, former Chief Justice, CJ head of this country, and they set up a template where in Kadrida the period of 6 months to run the tribunal, so that someone will not sit down on the position for years without the tribunal not taking a slow speed. These things, the period of education was set up, the technological advancement of our electoral system was put in place, and also it was also set here on board that at a time as we progress, we will have a collation that will be sent from the spot where election was conducted. These are templates, and I refer to it again, that when people are talking about government of yesterday, a man who introduced BVN, what was the mindset of that man? The mindset of the man is that if you like, call yourself Chinyere in a UBA, and call yourself Abubakar in First Bank, and call yourself Adebayo in Sky Bank. By the time BVN operates, it brings everything together. What is the mindset of the man who brought it? POS, who brought ATM, who brought in other things that are attached to this. Even the card reader we're talking about. Take your mind back. The appointment of the INEC chairman himself is a premeditated drama of what you are seeing right now, because all of us shouted to the roof and nobody did anything, and the man was allowed to sit down there against the constitution of the country that says INEC chairman must never have, because so that the man can be an unbiased empire. This election that we have just done now, INEC, Nigeria Army are also partisan in the election we had. So people contested against INEC, they contested against the government of the day, they contested against Nigeria Army, which is an aberration to the constitution. And so when we look at what took place, look at I give you an example. Somebody was with Bulovan and was not arrested, and he said, I own the money, I can bring the number of Bulovan. Nobody did anything to that person, but another person who happens to be his in-law financial controller had to be arrested. Lawyer have to be arrested. All these things were not the kind of democracy we experienced in 2015. If the former president had the kind of mindset that the sitting government have now, I think that phone call would not have come on board. Remember vividly that Dr. Rubebe contested the result right there. But the president, the city president at that time, made a phone call that doused the tension of people. Look at our climate today. This before the election, you can see the number of INEC offices that were set on fire in the name of candidate is born, and all those INEC offices that caught fire, the cartoon does not burn. Oga's office did not burn. It is where there is smart card reader and PVC of people that got burned, including Plateau, including Anambra, and some other states. Look at, between a week, we have almost 7 INEC offices on fire. And the place that caught fire is the smart card reader, is where they have PVC, those things that come, and it was simultaneous. What happened here are things that are premeditated, arranged, and put in place. That was why the man there was appointed. All of us shouted about collation. We saw what happened in Osun. That was inconclusive. This particular INEC started with inconclusive election. Okay, that is why they wrote, until we started shouting, election when it does not favor the sitting government become inconclusive under this particular administration. If you take your mind back between the presidential election and even this particular election we had on Saturday, some INEC rep who had integrity, who knew that they cannot be used, many of them want to pull out and resign, but they were under pressure to sit down, because some of them saw some of these things. They are academicians, they are well read, they knew what it is, and they know that we are leaving a legacy for our children. In 2015, do we have a lot of thundering like this? Every discussion was on social media for the youth. The youth were not involved in running up and down, but look at the election we had now. Youth are fully mobilized because they were victims of the poverty and all the things that were put in place so that they can be, their conscience can be bought with a peanut.
Thank you, Bishop Austin Igbasa, and most quickly caught in there. Well, there's actually a test of how it's going to pan out, but we will be extending the frontiers of this discussion. It's clear that we'll be having a viewpoint from you, Comrade Collins Ambadin, but that will be after this break. Do stay tuned.
The world is a global village.
And that's because information travels beyond boundaries.
And on This Morning on ITV,
we guarantee unbiased analysis on topical issues
that will educate you,
entertain you.
So join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Every Sunday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your ultimate news and current affairs program on television, This Morning on ITV, TMR. Join us.
Hello there. My name is FX the Entertainer. And I'm here to introduce to you the first door-to-door delivery service in Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria. OrionExpress.com.ng. Guess what? Whether it's hotel bookings, airport pickups, food or drinks delivery, whatever delivery you want around Edo State, Nigeria, we'll get it to you at your doorstep. And it's very affordable. And of course, we are time conscious. Just log on to www.orionexpress.com.ng and you'll be glad you did. I especially recommend it. And I know that you'll be glad when you go through our website. Our details are on your screen. And guess what? We would make sure that you smile at every delivery. www.orionexpress.com.ng. Have a good day.
Well, every Pole festival has its own challenges, or what we may call palaver. And so the 2019 Pole Festival has its own, but creating a template like what Bishop Austin Igbasan said, comparing that of 2015 with this, well, he came up with worsening issues in this very 2019 Pole Festival. But while we had a break, we had the opportunity to be joined by an erudite political analyst, articulate to in that direction, and it's no one else but Neville Obakedo. Many thanks for coming, Neville.
Good morning, viewers at home. Thank you for having me.
Okay, why Bishop Austin Igbasan has had the floor, calling somebody, what's your bite on this? Like, he made it clear that, well, INEC performance was not as expected in terms of making improvements on that of 2015 in this 2019 Pole Festival. Do you feel same?
Thank you very much. My bishop had not gone far from the truth. Nigerians saw what happened. Though people, persons like me are still mourning owing to what happened. But in all of this, I want to throw more of the blame on the international community. Importantly, the so-called acclaimed superpower. Though we have our sovereignty as a nation, we should do expect more of interference. But we also have organs of government worldwide who can, at least a very large extent, help to make sure the nation does the right thing. Because when refugees kicked off, it extends beyond bounds. And they are all victims, and that is why they cry first. And they've actually gave an opportunity to opposition party to feel that there will be no need, you know, to go all out with chest or to give it bumper to bumper the way, you know, the opposition was foreseeing. You know, from the very beginning, really, as you could say, you can see virtually all the lines of appointment, the processes that would even, you know, bring about free and fair election has since been threatened with appointments from even the courts to the electoral umpire to the security agencies. In all ramifications, there have been worries, and we'll expect some of those persons, you know, in Benin, you know, for those who apparently want to separate fight, they have to start from making sure there is peace. You know, from the very onset, when quarrel begins, you start from there before the real fight starts. But it's quite unfortunate they allow Nigerians to be manhandled the way the federal government had manhandled its citizens.
Because when you say the federal government manhandled its citizens,
yes,
I want to believe that you are not really bringing in facts. Because if you say the federal government manhandled its citizens, what are the factors you are using to verify?
Good. There are a lot of factors in which we could pinpoint that. One, with the election we have just gone into, let's even forget about all the killings that have been happening before the election. You could see what the federal government did. They did nothing will happen. If you talk, we can eventually kill all of you, even if it is 2 people that is remaining. And we saw it happening with institutions that needed to help to create a plain level field or plain level ground for all parties to operate. You see then, you know, most of the institutions taking complete side.
But when you say the federal government, are you not?
They are being managed.
Are you not so ambiguous?
Yes, of course.
At that, it's expected that you kind of narrow it down to political actors that are in the field of
good
in this respect.
Good,
not necessarily
good. Like
federal government.
Good. Those who are in charge of institutions right now, even those who are party member, loyal to the party of Mr. President. President Muhammadu Buhari, have indeed made most of the Nigerian institutions, overused, acted overbearing on institutions that needed to guide all of us. Like the security forces and even the INEC, as it were. You have had situations where, you know, although this one started in Ekiti and in Osun State, where you saw election that is so plain and you are being told inconclusive or a certainly wrong. Like what you see now in Bauchi, Adamawa, Rivers, what have you. The major 5 states right now that Kano, that they have said the elections are inconclusive, are states already being won by the People's Democratic Party.
But you don't have records to say that.
No.
The only authorized body to announce that or to indicate that is INEC.
Good, even with what INEC have read, not as a person,
as a party member.
Yes, I am not talking.
So why don't you just?
I know. I am not saying based on just mercy, but based on what INEC has released so far. You know, they were releasing results up to the level that in some cases it was remaining one local government. In some cases, they've even finished reading the results. They tell you there are some places maybe they need to go and do a supplementary election. You know, owing to that fact, they can't go ahead to declare a winner. You know, but these are quite unfortunate because what goes wrong will certainly turn around. And the pain Nigerians have today is that we fed Mr. President, owing to his age, he can surprise us, having failed administratively for the past 3.5 years. That maybe this will be the surprise package he will give to Nigerians by allowing them to now choose or elect their leader freely. And you can see where a particular party, for example, will win in its unit 700 and something or 800 and something or 900 and something. An opposition party also have an agent. His agent of another party did not even vote for his own party, meaning 0 over nothing. It's only in this very administration we are seeing all this, and nobody is talking. And you are arresting people without records, without offense.
Okay.
You know, these are things that are not fair.
I'll come back to you.
And Nigerians,
I'll come back to you.
More of Nigerians are keeping quiet.
I'll come back to you. Neville Bakedo, there has been this trend of blame game. Now, in an election where you see winners, you see losers, basically you have this tussle. What's your bite on this, presently looking at the way the election panned out?
Well, before we talk about the election festival and its impact on our society, we need to estray the Nigerian state as a state that is experiencing civilian rule in contradistinction to democratic rule or democratic governance. In the First Republic from 1960 to 1966, we saw that the elite that captured political power from the colonial masters did not lay the egalitarian foundation for democratic takeoff, where our people are expected to imbibe and internalize the tenets of democracy. When I say our people, I'm referring to both the political actors, the gladiators, the political leaders, and the citizens, the electorate. And so by their conduct, by the conduct of the politicians of the First Republic and the conduct of the electorate, they compilingly signed the obituary of the First Republic and usher in military rule. the politician failed to learn from history. In the Second Republic, they repeated history, and military came again. It was at the end of the second military government, or the second phase of military rule, that Buhari came to the limelight as head of state. The same Buhari that we are talking about. And at that time, there was a lot of indiscipline carried from First Republic to Second Republic. And the man said he was going to ensure that there was orderliness in our country. He started the orderliness within the military. And some segments were not happy. They organized a coup. The person that was supposed to resist the coup, Itiago, was sent to Mecca as Amiru Hajj, and the government was overthrown. I felt that the assignment that Buhari was supposed to carry out in Nigeria, he was not able to carry that assignment out. And so God brought him back again.
To finish it?
Yes. Before we talk about the assignment that he has come to complete, the question is, from 1999 to date, there have been elections. In 1999, there was a general election, like the 2019 election. In 2003, there was a general election. 2007, there was a general election. 2011, there was a general election. 2015, there was a general election. This is the 20th year of democracy in quote in Nigeria. Again, there was a general election. Yes, there was a general election. Now, at the end of every general election, the debate that is going on now, the debate for and against, used to overwhelm the media.
Okay, but the question in summary is, are we faring better? Because you just made a synopsis of our historical political antecedents. Are we faring better in all of this?
Before I answer you in a straitjacket way whether we are faring better or not, there are certain things that people have referred to in this election that makes me to continue to emphasize the fact that if we want a better society, if we want a better democratic society, we should not base our discussion and our argument or our analysis on the basis of sentiment. We should base it on the basis of facts.
Yes, and based on what you also observed.
On the basis of fact. There is a state they call Imo State in southeastern Nigeria. Imo State. That is APC state. As at this morning, I got information that a former deputy speaker of the National Assembly, PDP man, Ihedioha, has been declared the winner of that election. He is a PDP person. That the people of Imo State decided that they don't want to continue with APC, they want a PDP government. And so be it, if that election was devoid of all the crises that we have been referring to, if the election was not manipulated, if there was no vote buying, that is the voice of the people of Imo State. Now, as we are sitting down here, there is a state called Oyo State. Pastor is the Yoruba, I don't know whether it's from Oyo State, but by its origin, I know it's from southwestern Nigeria. Oyo State has been a state under APC and is the second largest state in Nigeria in terms of number of local government. Oyo State from APC, they have voted for PDP. And the person that is in charge of INEC for this election is the Professor Mahmood, the INEC chairman that he himself has referred to. If Mahmood wants to manipulate election in Oyo State, or want to manipulate election in Imo State, can he stop him? Can opposition stop him if he wants to manipulate election? The answer is no. But the people have spoken and he has allowed the voice of the people to remain. And in any case, he was not the collation officer of any of the local government. He was not the returning officer of the state. So we cannot put blame on him concerning either manipulation or no manipulation in the election. That is that. Let's give an example with Edo State. Edo State is our own state. The state of the national chairman of APC, Comrade Adams Aliyu Shomole, former governor, immediate past governor of the state. The state is APC state. Governor Obaseki is APC governor. And the federal government is APC federal government. All the local government chairmen and councillors in Edo State, if not all, at least some of them, the local government chairmen are APC, but some of the councillors may be PDP. Now, this is APC state. They conducted the election in this state. In the presidential election, PDP won this state. Are you telling me that INEC chairman cannot work with Oshomole, for example, to say return my state, to let my state return result for APC?
Okay. What you are saying here?
I will conclude by saying that in that general election of national election of February 23rd, APC got 1 senatorial seat, PDP got 2 senatorial seats, and some 5 or 6 House of Reps seats. In this state, if you want to refer to a state that is #1 state that APC should be interested in, is the home state of the president and the home state of the national chairman.
Okay, what you are saying here in summary is that the federal government did not use its might in influencing INEC as a body.
Muhammadu Buhari or the APC federal government of President Muhammadu Buhari did not and does not have any reason to use either INEC or the
military. Okay.
Yeah,
now let's look at Rivers State, the issues that came up even in the headlines for today. Yes. It was declared even by EU and observers that in the election that they were to monitor in Rivers State, they were stopped from monitoring it. They were stopped from even going to the collation centers to monitor the collation of results by the military. What do you have to say? And these were reports from the EU observers.
You see that Rivers State is a state of rivers of blood. In the Second Republic, when Chief Medford Okilo was to be elected as governor under National Party of Nigeria, there were crises that led to the death of persons in that state. While Obasanjo was president of this country under PDP, there were crises in Rivers State that led to brutal murder, broad daylight brutal murder of persons, highly placed persons, including Chief Marshal Harry Marshal, as the case may be. I tell you the truth that the Rivers State government under Amechi set up a truth and reconciliation panel because of the kind of carnage and savagery that has happened.
Okay, let's go straight to the point. Let's go straight to the point. Yes. Let's go straight to the point on the observation by the EU.
I'm coming to that.
The EU mission observers.
Because I needed to lay foundation for me to come to their summation. That is the reason why I have to take you back to history. Now, in 2015, while APC was conducting, while they were doing their campaign, openly, whether I know Biakwa, I can't remember the local government came to that place and attacked them, killed persons.
Okay, that's why they should do their own now.
Okay, but I want you to react to the statement credited to the EU observers mission.
I'm coming to the issue of EU now.
Okay.
The observers, when they said they were stopped by the military from monitor, from coming to collation centers. As observers, because I am an observer in elections, I do know that before we commence the process of observing the election, they have to give you numbers that you can contact, numbers of police, numbers of soldiers, numbers of the state government that you can even contact, situation rules that you can report to. If somebody is saying, because I listened to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Buratai, when he was saying that certain politicians have purchased military camouflage with election duty insignia.
Okay, so probably that could be the fake military that stopped the EU observers.
They should parade themselves.
Okay, thank you. I'll come back to you.
Yes. The European Union
yes.
supposed to immediately make contact with the military high command to find out whether those who were stopping them from carrying out their international standard responsibilities, whether they were actually from the military or they were actually.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Bishop Austin Basa react to this, because even in today's headlines, Tuko Buratai did say that there are claims of issues about fake army personnel that really were in circulation in Rivers that erupted the violence. So what do you have to say?
What of the real army that went to commissioners serving military, serving politicians' houses, and the CCTV captured them? All those ones are also fake.
But about 2 trailers.
Now, those who arrested people who are stalwart of a particular party, and they are now in detention with the army. the chief of army staff is also denying that they were also arrested by fake soldiers. It was fake soldiers that arrested them, that kept them in detention up till now. Why is it that fake soldier is coming up now after the presidential election? Why are we having the issue of fake soldier?
No, but there have been issues even before the election. There were issues about the fact that some politicians are recruiting, getting fake uniforms, military uniforms, in order to recruit thugs to put them on in order to disrupt the polls.
Definitely.
That has been on. That even before the election.
What I'm even saying.
And so now that we are having it, it's like it brought about, it reawakened the suspicion that some had even before the election.
Yes. Now, definitely, all those camouflage that were arrested by the custom, what was the finding of the custom after that time out? Because personally, I have seen more than 12 arrested, consignment. And before you ship anything to Nigeria, you can't impersonate by shipping. You must have your name. There must be a company. There must be a tracker. Sure. So at the end of the day, is it a poor man in the street who is begging for bread that is going to bring army? Also, how do you think somebody in opposition will bring army uniform and he will put his name, and at the end of the day he will go to port and go and clear those goods? Let us call spade a spade. Like what my brother said, I'm not disappointed. You know, I'm a Jesus-tician. So people who I'm not partisan, I'm Jesus-tician. I will talk on behalf of the masses. The truth must be told. We have never had it in this country where we want to do election and people say, go ruthlessly on anybody. I've given order, I've given this one to people because there are laws. Even the president that is sitting today, he swore to a constitution to uphold the constitution of the nation, which says ballot snatcher will go through a process and go to 2 years jail. Nothing is above that. We've seen how the acting chief judge, the chief judge was removed. We saw all the things that surrounded. So as my brother is building foundation, we should build. Why was Honorable removed? Against what the constitution of the federal government said. What was the interest? What is the urgency? And what is this foot dragging of NJC to act on that matter since that matter has been on board? So it is only when we want to deceive a woman that just deliver, you tell her, put your waist near fire. They not say no be waist, they say may carry near fire. Now that place where it take bomb, now they say may carry near fire. All of us were here in 2014. And I give you an analysis. 2 people were campaigning in 2014. One of them said, my ambition is not worth a drop of blood. Another one said, if I don't win, the dog and the baboon will be soaked in blood. You can Google it in BBC Hausa Radio up to now. Now, out of these 2 persons who was making hate speech, at the end of the day, what are we seeing today? Definitely, every leader will follow the footsteps. My church member will talk like me. Those who are following me will talk like me. Somebody that go to a Christ embassy will talk like Pastor Chris. Who is going to Winners Chapel will talk like Baba Oyedepo. Who is a Redeem will talk like Baba Oyedepo or Baba Adeboye. So what we are seeing today, let us not deceive ourselves. In 2015, were army going to people's house? Were they fully part of this election? What does our constitution say about the responsibility of the Nigerian army? So when we talk of EU, are we not here when a sitting governor said any observer that go beyond boundary will go in body bags?
Yeah.
What was done? What was that man called to action?
No.
Was the man sanctioned? No. Was the man invited to say what you said as a leader is an aberration to the constitution? If any international observer go beyond their boundary, there are ways to check them. There are organs that check them. Why should they return the body back? I think that is not a hate speech. That's a law speech.
Okay, we've had all of these issues, but let's look at the impact on our democracy. How to grow our democracy in Nigeria. What do you think can be the way out in changing all of this?
Number one, we must go ahead. You see, as my brother said something here, I want to build on something. When PDP was in power, they lost Ondo State from Agagu to Olusegun Mimiko. Yeah. The president was the first person to congratulate the new governor. They lost Segun Oni to Kayode Fayemi. The president, who was an opposition president, was the first person to congratulate them. They lost Olagusoye Oyinlola to Rauf Aregbesola. The president was the first person. In Edo State here, the Professor Osubo was moved by the court, and Comrade Adam Oshiomhole came aboard. The president was the first person to agree. Peter Obi, in the place of PDP, was given Anambra in the place of Ogige, and the president was the first person. I give you an analysis of both Akwa Ibom, Taraba, Bayelsa, Rivers State. All of them got to Supreme Court. Till today, tomorrow, the president, who is the father of everybody, dare not congratulate those opposition. then how do you explain that one in a democracy? Then the sitting government of yesterday lost those party. They lost their party in judiciary. They didn't turn the neck of judiciary or bend their neck to do the bidding of a sitting administration that control the federal. They accepted that the judiciary is a separate entity in democracy and they can do what is right without being bamboozled or being controlled or being harassed to do things. Then how do you marry that one in a situation where judges were being trampled upon on the name of one triple charges? All the judges that were arrested in the night and their CCTV camera cut off. What does the court say about almost all of them? They are all discharged and acquitted because there was no evidence against them. But all these are done to be able to create some level of fear. What happened? We have an acting chief judge that is against the constitution of the country, sitting to educate and to administer over our judiciary.
An acting chief judge.
And our constitution is against the constitution because there is no petition.
No. I think if we must say anything as in regarding that, there must be facts to prove.
There is no.
It's not just enough for you to just say.
In the act of our judicial council, the most senior man becomes a chief judge when the other man retires. So there is no space for acting chief judge. If you take a man back,
okay, but we don't have the right. We don't have the right panelists to discuss this.
We have discussed it in this station.
This has to do with the constitution.
Yeah, we have discussed it in this station.
The custodian of the law.
When it happened that time, we discussed it in this station. That is an aberration. And I quoted that we have a sitting vice president who is a professor of law, a senior advocate of Nigeria, a teacher of lawyers, that he should do the needful. When they were to extend the unaugust tenure, we discussed in this station and we said the man should do what is right, and if not, law student will read about his act while he was in power. It will become a case study for all law students that we have a professor of law who knew what was right and was aiding. As at that time he was acting vice president, and we said it here, under 48 hours, the man was given the mantle of leadership as chief judge. Because it is not done in our constitution that there's no place for acting chief judge. The same man sitting today gave a judgment in Abia and Enugu of this kind of thing that happened, and those judges were retired. He was part of those people that gave the judgment. Okay. So what are we talking? All these things are built up. Okay, they are built up to reactions of what we do.
Let me pause you.
This is the election.
We have our democracy, and democracy still remains the best system of government, except Comrade Amadine Osagai will say the difference. Now, you've been in the with APC now, but now you are in PDP, and looking at the defections that has taken place, that's a lot of persons have been saying has been the biggest problem of Nigerian politicians and bereft of political ideologies. What will you say of yourself, defecting from one? Because I have heard you on this platform where you also defended the party and also its programs, its policy, and even its festival.
Not defending the party, defending issues as it were. Okay. Now, before I go there, you know, my pastor will always say he feels very sad when it concerns the issue of Nigeria, because Nigeria is a country where old men still lie, even when they are about dying. Even when they've crossed a certain age or certain aggregate in life, that they know they don't need to lie. That is what we see sometimes. Some of us get so discouraged when we see our men who ought to be role model. They keep lying. The obvious, they are lying. Even people listening, people hear us. Sometimes they know when we are lying. They know when we are saying the truth. But just to say, now it is in this very election that you saw a sitting deputy governor in Kano State. It's on video, it's very everywhere, with a commissioner of a local government and chieftaincy title went to tear a result sheet and we are being caught. The masses, you know, heated on them. The police caught them, assumed to have arrested them. A sitting deputy governor in this country. Now we talk about army, saying they are fake army, you know, that emanated based on politicians wanting to win election. Before now, opposition have been crying, particularly my party, the PDP, that we are.
And while they were crying, you were in APC.
I am coming, sir. I am coming. Okay. I am going to handle that question separately. Okay. Let's deal with issues on ground. Okay. You understand? Now the opposition was shouting and crying that there are attempts by some politicians already, just as the army said. Now we expected the army to have created another means of identification. It will cost them nothing. If it's to wear a different type of cap on that day, to knowing this is Nigeria army, different from the other. Now, among those fake armies, even at collation centers where we have a video right now, where other parties' agents were being sent out, you are the media team, you have them, they were being sent out, observers were driven away, the gate was being shut, you saw their attitude, rubbling muscle as if those people were Boko Harams, or they were ISIS that they need to fight with all strength. These are quite unfortunate. They should not also forget that their children may not also wear khaki. They will also rise to wanting to become leaders tomorrow. What goes around will turn around. They are not only hurting Nigerians. Now, my dear leader here, Honorable Neville.
But it has always been said that politicians are the major part of the issues that we're having. Like defecting from one party to another, where we're having this issue.
We will come to that.
Which you are part of.
Which I'm successfully part of. Okay. Because I will tell you the reason I've said that in virtually all the medias in the state. Why I had to take the book by the horn at the time that I did, which I will never regret and I am not regretting. Now, my leader talked about some party being owned by like Edo State. He said is an APC state. What makes the state an APC state? You said it produced a national chairman. It produced a governor. Now, in the election of the presidential that took place, you agree, APC won, if not 4 House of Representatives or 5, and they also won 1 House of Senate. PDP also did. They won 4 reps and they had 2 Senate. Now, there was a clean tide. What would you say of Kwara, where you have the Senate president, where you have a city governor, yet you say they could not produce a seat of the House of Assembly? Even if they are the most hated person in the world, at least their own local government, their own immediate constituency, no matter how poor they are, at least they should be able to produce 1 House of Assembly. Now let's call the spade because when we want to defend issues, let's defend it in a way that posterity will stand with all of us. Now in Edo State you talked about, Edo State that you have already agreed that PDP want to Senate and have 4 House of Rep member. Just few days, we counted days, let me not say 2 weeks. Thereafter, the same PDP could not produce a House of Assembly member. Yes, you can see how you could justify that for us. Everybody that loves PDP, just within 2 weeks, they have not hated PDP, and they have decided to say it should be 24 over 24. God bless all of us the way we continue to administer to our people. Now you talked about the issue of, I was in APC some time ago, and today
that has been overtaken by events.
No. You asked the question. I need to prostrate on that. I left immediately after the primary that happened because I saw those I believed, not even the primary that affected me when I tried to go for council, the main primary that metaphors into this general election. I saw a team of persons who claimed to be progressive but completely retrogressors in the way primaries were conducted. People want primaries play. They were denied. There were some candidates I tried to even support. I saw that this is not a team I should continue to encourage. These are not things people like me who are Democrats should find joy in being in. For me, the alternative I had as at that time was to join another team that had walked through overhauling, that has now been renaissance, in order for us to have a real frontier, in order to remove, because Nigerians were already speaking, to remove the power of APC out so that Nigerians can live beyond the situations they were living. Okay, and above that, what kicked my exit was more of President Muhammadu Buhari still returning as the only best candidate that party can produce. Okay, so for me, it was an aberration as a youth and as a young man who is not lazy and was said to be lazy, who indeed have not seen any form of industries from this same federal government, even when Cross River State, and some few states can today be talking about industries that they have created today.
Thank you,
Cross
Collins.
River is now operating on airline.
Thank you, Collins. Now, let's look at the aspect of the House of Assembly seats won by the All Progressive Congress in Edo State. Now, some say that, well, the people have their choices. But in all of this, it is appearing that the people made their choice for one party to dominate the entire seats in the State House of Assembly in Edo State. How feasible is that looking at the festival of the election?
Well, because I'm a father, and I know that if my children are not in school this morning, they may be watching this program, and they know the kind of father that they have, that I will not feed them with lies.
I will appreciate if you go straight to the point.
Yes. I will not feed them with facts that they will later discover not to be true facts. So let me talk about the House of Assembly election in Edo State before I maybe make some remark about what my co-discussor said here.
Okay.
So that our people at home can be kept abreast and well abreast with the facts and the provisions of the Constitution concerning some of their comments. 2019, Edo State is only to conduct a state House of Assembly election, while the governorship election will take place in 2020. Now, before the election, as an observer and a researcher, we have gone around to conduct some opinion poll and got information that some persons in Edo State were not satisfied with the disposition of President Muhammadu Buhari, especially in the area of insecurity, and that they prefer to vote out the president at the national level and to keep voting APC at the state level.
Okay.
Now, that is a fact that was found during the research exercise.
Okay.
Now, after the general election, after the national election of 23rd February this year, if you look at the country generally, especially in some states, you will see what we call low voters turnout. Certain things were responsible. Number one, expectations of persons that were dashed after the
presidential National Assembly election. Yes.
They did not see any reason why they should come out to come and vote. But that does not mean that in the House of Assembly election, the political parties that were contesting the election did not have their agents, the polling units in the state.
Okay, do you mean to say that the ruling party also capitalized on the voter apathy?
Not the ruling party, it's the vote. It's the vote of the people that show that APC won the election in the state. Now, in all the units, like in my own unit, Unit 13, Ward 10 of Isako West local government, the people that came outside, I saw the ANEC officials that were conducting the election, all the agents of the parties were there, election was conducted, and votes were declared. That is the authentic vote.
But vote buying was also the order of the day.
No, there was no vote buying. There was no vote buying. What happened? What happened? In virtually the places that we visited after voting in my own unit is what we call lobbying for vote, not vote buying.
Because on election day.
No. When you say
yes.
On election day.
Let's
the electoral acts.
He has the floor.
When you say lobbying for vote,
yes.
You cannot say because you are coming to vote, you say no campaign. When you just vote, your mouth will be kept shut throughout the voting period. People make comments. As people are going on queue and they are about to vote, somebody will be whispering to them, "You vote for my party, vote for my party."
So money was not involved?
No, money was not involved in my presence. I don't know, maybe after voting, maybe they will go to one leader and collect money. But right in my presence, money was not involved.
In the polling units you were? Wait.
Yes,
let's get it clear, because
if
you generalize, it gives the impression that you were everywhere.
Yes. I was not everywhere. How can I say I was everywhere? I'm omnipresent, that I will be telling you that I'm everywhere. If my children are watching...
But you said that there wasn't vote buying.
Yes, the places I visited.
So if you weren't everywhere, why that statement?
Yeah, the places I visited. If I voted in Isako West, and after voting in Ward 10, I now move around as an accredited observer, move around, visit Isako Central, visit Isako East, and then from there, from there to Onwa, and I'm seeing what is happening. Am I not supposed to come up with a report? It's part of the report that I'm giving you here. Now, the people who voted in the National Assembly election in Esan, they voted for a senator, PDP senator, they voted for House of Rep, 2 House of Rep seats there. Now, during the House of Assembly election, where were the agents? Were they not there? Is it that INEC just worked with APC and they just wrote the result in Esan land? In Edo South here, Edo South Senatorial District, that consists of 7 local governments, where I'm sure Pastor Gbasa voted here, and I'm also sure that Amadi also voted here. Are they telling me now that there was no vote and that PDP, APC, AJ, and other party agents were not there? Did they see people selling votes and people buying votes? Did they see 90 results in favor of APC? If they are saying so and they fail to take action, when I say action, they fail to report to the necessary situation so that such perpetrators are arrested, it means they conspire with those people to perpetrate those acts.
Okay, but the role you played in the course of the election, as, like you said, an accredited voter.
Yes, as a
also
voter,
an accredited observer.
Yes, as
okay,
a voter
and an accredited observer.
Yes.
Now, if you look at this and the aspect of the news making the round, that some observers, like the international observers, for instance, the EU, were prevented from monitoring the collation of results. You as an accredited observer, what do you have to say in that respect?
You know, Nigeria is a country that is made up of 36 states and federal capital territory, and these are all the places that the election took place. If international observers were allowed into 35 states and federal capital territory, and we now have an isolated case of Rivers State, which is the 36th state, and they were not allowed there. It's a matter, it's a subject that we have to investigate it. We have to investigate it.
We had this issue, like as in being reported, we had this issue in Zamfara.
Sure.
We had this issue in Rivers.
Yes.
And also in some states.
Yes.
Now, not only peculiar to Rivers.
Okay, not only peculiar to Rivers. You are associated.
But I want to believe that you know the facts.
Whether I know the facts. If I visited collation centers in all the places I monitored the election, waiting for the result to be brought from the various units, and they are collated either at constituency level or at senatorial level, and I was not prevented with my badge, then anybody is saying that he or she was prevented in the name of an international organization. I will not want to believe that, because I saw people.
Maybe owing to your identity.
I saw people. I saw white people who came to monitor election. I do not. I saw them in Esan. I even saw some in Benin here. So I did not see anybody preventing them. So if there are states where they said they were prevented, the government of Nigeria, the police, security, they're supposed to investigate that.
Okay, going forward, based on what you observed, yes, going forward for Nigeria's democracy, is there hope?
Before I talk about whether there's hope, let me quickly react to some of the issues that Pastor...
Briefly.
The pastor spent much time talking about the case of a suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Onoge. And he was very emotional about it, that the people who acted according to law, they did not act according to law, they were playing out a script. I want to quarantine his emotional outburst by letting him know that the appointment and the dismissal of or suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria and the Chief Judge of his state and the President of the Chief Judge of Federal Capital Territory, President of Court of Appeal, and the President of Sharia Court of Appeal.
And so on and so forth.
Yes,
yeah.
They are defying the Constitution.
Okay.
So the Constitution in Section 192, subsection 1 and 2, specify the fact that...
Puts that to rest.
Yes, that for example, for a Chief Justice of the state, or a Chief Judge of the state, or Chief Justice of Nigeria to be removed, there are 3 processes to be followed.
Yes, I remember on the platform we discriminated that.
One is when the Chief Justice of Nigeria is having mental illness or body infirmity that cannot perform his function.
Which was not the case of Onoge.
Yes, and that had to do with a report from the Surgeon General of the Federation and the combination of a team of medical experts who will carry out some examination of the Chief Justice of Nigeria.
Okay, but straightforward, what was the case of Onoge?
Yeah, the case of Onoge, the case of Onoge, before I anchored the case of Onoge, the issue of removal of a Chief Justice of Nigeria on the basis of misconduct, that's involving himself in misconduct because of carrying out the judicial function. Yeah. That one had to be referred to National Judicial Council. Then the last one, which is contravention of the Code of Conduct Act, that is strictly by provision of the Constitution, is handled by the Code of Conduct Tribunal, where the man was dragged before, where the Chief Justice of Nigeria was dragged before, and immediately took appeal that he was not supposed to appear there. And the Court of Appeal has said that is the only court that can handle that matter.
Okay.
He should go there.
All right, back to the question.
For the people, for our people at home who may not have known that what Pastor Gbasa said in that regard was not correct. I just said I should say that one.
Okay, back to the question. Is the court what has happened so far? Please, we are pressed for time.
Nigeria court is
what has happened so far? What do you see as, is there hope in Nigeria's democracy going forward?
There is hope in Nigeria democracy if all politicians, whether they are APC members,
based on what you observed.
Yes, if all politicians, whether they are PDP members or leaders, if all politicians, whether they are other party members or leaders, if INEC as an institution of the state, if the security forces are ready for Nigeria to witness what we call a beacon of hope.
Okay, thank you.
In the democratic process.
Thank you. Quickly, as we round off, your final words on this issue, and also your comments on the seats won by the party in the State House of Assembly in Edo State.
Yes, like I said just now, it is not possible that the same people who voted for PDP national seat will turn around and say they don't want to vote. I'm not a party member. I speak with clear conscience that you can't have it anywhere in the world where all seats will be won, and everybody in Edo State will think the same way and will act the same way, that they don't want the party they want to represent them in national to have a representation in the local environment that is closer to them.
So you see that as a dent to our democracy?
I see it as a dent. Let us not see fashion designer and tailor are the same thing. Let us, when we put fashion designer, we're only designing it. Right. You can't tell me that the same people who were inside this, there's a polling booth in the front of my house. I don't want to talk about what happened on Saturday in that place.
Okay, going forward, how do we correct it? What is their hope?
The hope is that in my place, they say, you not beg Chris person, you dey beg native doctor we won't make drug for am, we go drink. If they make that concoction finish and the crazy man say he know they drink, he close his mouth, how are you going to do it? You know, that's the problem in my place. Say you not beg crazy person make you open him mouth, make drink medicine wey they won't give him. You dey beg who won't give him medicine. Now the Electoral Act was brought before President 4 times, and he had one thing or the other against it until it is not signed. If we have our electoral law signed, with all the money made available for INEC to buy equipment that will make us not analog, and yet those things were thrown up, and those money were made available by National Assembly. Like my brother said just now, I had a clear understanding of law. I did a little of law.
So you're talking about the 2018 electoral bill.
About the Constitution did this, the president have power to suspend on here.
Okay.
So those 3 platforms that were 3 pots that were made available, I had understanding of all of them. What I'm saying is that for us
so going forward, the 2018 electoral bill must be given,
and also the appointment of INEC chairman must be done from another constituency.
Thank you. Thank you. As we round off in 1 minute.
For my leader once asked if in Oredo if there was any issue, if precisely those are where we voted.
In case you didn't get the question rightly, as in the way forward in terms of
I know, okay, thank you. Also in the way forward, but let me just do a little of retrospect. I want to thank the Nigerian police patrol team on the day of the House of Assembly election. Otherwise, the way some people were all out was to kill virtually half of people in Oredo. I want to thank that security patrol team who was at cock and bay of every citizen at that level, headed by Balogun, one officer Balogun. They were wonderful. We thank them for protecting us. Otherwise, at that money, they were already showing guns to many politicians in the field to say if their way doesn't go, they will kill everybody.
So who were showing guns? You mean politicians?
Hoodlums.
So federal might wasn't used in this case?
In short, at this case, I don't know about federal might. I think there was a team that had a conscience that was ready to do the needful. Maybe not taking a certain order to malign some people, but they were just out there to make sure every life was safe at that level. For my word, I am really grateful to that patrol team, and may God bless Balogun and his team. Now, on the way forward, sir, very quickly, I want to say, for Nigeria, democracy is already buried by this administration. We are only going to hope that if there be any other election by the grace of God, if God say, if they do not completely hand over the same democracy back to military, because maybe that was what they wanted to do now. Maybe the opposition allow them to kickstart it. Because if with all these malpractice that took place, the opposition has said we're not going to agree, and there is fight everywhere, and people are dying, maybe they would have handed over the government back to the military.
Thank you,
but we hope and pray that the Nigerian youth, they are so much impoverished and malign.
Thank you.
We wake up and realize that we need to build a country.
Thank you, Collins. Thank you, Neville Obakodo. Thank you, Bishop Austin Igbasan, for coming. Well, the opinions made here are the opinions of the makers and not of independent television. And I've been your host on this program this morning on ITV Tuesday edition, Philip Omo Gyupo.